that I had to prove that moose were real.
Seriously?
Yeah, because our little like dorm room, so in a section, in an army section, there's 6 people, sort of 6 privates, a corporal, a sergeant, an officer. So there's 6 girls in like one dorm room kind of thing. And so it was like facing beds, and then we had our own little like desk locker like situation. And on that side of the room, there was there was windows. My side didn't have it because it was inside. And we were stood like looking out the window one day, and there was a field with sheep in it, funny enough. And I said something along the lines of like, "Oh, when I look out the window at home, sometimes there's like deer and elk and sometimes moose going through the field." And Sean turns to me and goes, "Moose? They're not real." And I'm like, "What do you mean they're not real?" She thought they were like unicorns.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She genuinely like just didn't
Oh
think
my
they were real. She
God.
thought they were I was like, "Yeah, you know, like Elliot Moose is on the loose." She's like, "Yeah, I thought it wasn't real. Like I didn't think that was a real animal."
That's amazing.
And I had to be like, "No, it is." And she's like, "You're fucking with me." I was like, "Are you fucking with me?" I was like, "A moose is pretty damn real when it's coming through your windshield when you've hit one in the winter." And like she's like, "Canada, stop fucking with me." And I'm like, and at that time, my cell phone was literally like I had borrowed it from my grandparents. It was like their old like Nokia. So I couldn't even like pull up a picture.
Yeah, you couldn't get that proof.
And I was like, either you believe me or you don't. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's a real animal.
If you just like hear the description of a moose, though, I can see why someone wouldn't think it's real.
One of my dad's old like farmer friends, he's since passed away, but he used to say moose were the last creation of gods to go out, and it was just all different animals smushed together and put out on the assembly line, because he's like, it doesn't look like anything. It's like a weird cow, deer, horse creature, ginormous.
Yeah.
So he's like, that was just like God's leftovers that he crammed together.
I've never seen a moose in real life.
Oh, I have.
I know you have. The first time I saw an elk, I was in Jasper, and I got so excited. I was like, "Oh my God, it's a
noise
moose!"
they make too.
Yeah.
Elks, they have that. Well, what do they call it? Like a bellow, I guess they call it, but it sounds like a whistle almost.
There were a lot of them in town, and they were like all around the hotel. There were ones on top of like cars and like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's a moose, and then I found out that they are much smaller than a moose is, and I was like, "Well, then how big is a moose?"
Yeah. We, like, growing up in the country, a moose will run across a field, step over a barbed wire fence, does not need to jump. Like a deer, you see like boing over a fence. A moose doesn't stop walking. It just steps over. Like the gait does not change. So you would see it coming and you would stop, obviously, because you don't want to be anywhere near it. Just bloop over the fence, bloop, 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 over the road, bloop, 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 over the fence, and gone.
Steve was working out in the country recently. He's actually working there right now. And it was nighttime. And there's like this big gate, and he has to get out of the truck to unlock the gate and then, you know, lock it back up. And he saw a mother moose and her baby, and he was like, "This is terrifying."
Yeah,
I'm like, that is, oh, I don't like it.
No, never get between a mama and her baby. Like, that's like a big no-no. In the spring, when everything starts to melt and the roads are warmed by the sun, out where my parents used to live, there was this big bull moose that came, and he was humongous. But when the road gets warm, they just lay in the middle of the road.
Oh my God.
And they don't care. You would literally drive up to them, and you just have to drive around them because he ain't moving. He don't give a hoot.
No, he's having a time.
He's bigger than you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can nudge him with your truck. It's going to do more damage to the truck than it's going to do to the moose, and that's not an exaggeration.
That's insane.
People have smoked them with their vehicles, written off a car. The moose just gets up and walks away. Anywho.
That was today's episode of Canadian Corner.
Yeah. Welcome to the Canadian, I was going to say the Canadian outback. That's not quite right. The Canadian wilderness. We're not even in the wilderness. There's just all sorts of crazy things happening up here in the Great White North.
True. Hello, everyone. I'm Dina.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlotte.
Welcome to the Grim Curriculum Extra Credits.
Welcome. And I guess speaking of craziness happening in the Great White North, this is kind of a segue. You brought this up to me. I had kind of forgotten about it.
This is nuts.
Okay, so I was gonna say years ago. It probably was a year or more ago
I know this
now.
originally happened in 2022.
So 3 years ago,
Yes.
on Extra Credit, Olympic snowboarder turned drug kingpin Ryan Wedding, who is now 44 years old, not only has he found a new career, shall we say, for himself,
Mhm.
but he has now found himself in a very mm, special place on a list.
Yeah.
And that would be the FBI's most wanted. He's, I think, number one on the list right
He's
now.
high up, and it's crazy because when we talked about him a few years ago, he had, like, just gotten caught, and it kinda just
Yes.
seemed like a, "Ha ha, he did this" kinda
Yeah,
story.
haha, this idiot,
Yeah.
obviously didn't make much of his life, turned to crime as many people do. And I believe he was on the run at the time. He is still on the run, but boy, howdy, has he moved his way up in the drug cartel world after moving to
Yeah.
Mexico, or I should say, running to Mexico.
This story is insane.
So, authorities have raised the reward for information for Ryan leading to his arrest from 10 million to 15 million.
Dang.
They're calling him a modern day Pablo Escobar, which I think, knowing what we know about Pablo, is probably a bit of an exaggeration because I think he was kind of iconic in his way, but I can see why they're making that reference
Yeah,
there for sure.
absolutely.
So, FBI Director Kash Patel has said that Mr. Wedding, 44 years old, was responsible for engineering a narco trafficking and narco terrorism program that we have not seen in a long, long time. The officials say that they believe the Canadian, now one of the FBI's 10 most wanted, is living in Mexico under the Sinaloa drug cartel's protection.
And that's, like, big business.
Big, like, we're talking millions, if not billions of dollars worth of drug money,
Yeah.
essentially. So Mr. Wedding has been up to quite a bit since we've last talked about him. He allegedly has placed bounties on people. Back in October of 2024, a witness of Mr. Weddings and his wife had posted to a Canada-based website called the Dirty News, news with a Z, to help locate Mr. Wedding. So Mr. Wedding put out a hit on them.
That's oh my can you imagine? He was just this, like, Canadian snowboarder, made his way to
Literally.
the Olympics, didn't win
Yes.
anything, but he made his way.
Which I think is still a pretty admirable
Of
thing to do. I
course.
haven't been to the frickin'
No.
Olympics. And then suddenly he's in this drug world. He's also been charged with witness tampering, obviously, and intimidation, murder, money laundering, and drug trafficking. The FBI is still seeking unknown suspects that are directly involved with Mr. Wedding. At a news conference on Wednesday, US and Canadian law enforcement officials announced a series of other developments in a case against him, including new indictments and 10 arrests made with him in connection. His organization operates across North America and other countries and is the largest supplier of cocaine to Canada.
Insane.
Insane.
This was just a guy.
Just a guy. But you know what? I could argue that many of the folks we talk about are just random
That's
people
so
that
true.
end up in these situations by their own poor choices and the way life leads them.
The thing is too, like, he not only worked for the cartel, he's gotten his way pretty high up in the cartel.
Yeah, he's not a low level grunt
No.
by any means. I'm not quite sure what the ranking systems are in the drug cartels. I'm sure it's a little bit different for everybody, but he's one of the top, like, lieutenants, if you
Yeah.
will. That's really all I have to say is that Mr. Wedding is making his drug trafficking career skyrocket because he's still on the loose.
Yeah.
He's obviously very wanted. If
Mhm.
the FBI get their hands on him, he might be cooked, as they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a little update for you there.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Oh my god.
Speaking of cooked,
Oh no.
this isn't necessarily breaking news because
Okay.
it kinda happened right after we recorded the last extra credit,
Mm.
but there are updates, so I wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
We have talked about this young lady on extra
Oh,
credit
I know. I think I know where this is
as
going.
well
Yep.
as during our episode on the Slender Man stabbings.
Mhm.
So the Slender Man stabber made a new friend and then ran away so they could be together. Morgan Geyser, 23 years old, was found at a truck stop in Illinois with 43-year-old Charlie Mecca. So some of you might, if you're keeping up with the story, be confused about the name. Charlie Mecca is a trans woman. A lot of the articles are referring to her as Chad, which is
Oh, I
her
see.
dead name. So we're
Okay.
going to call her Charlie.
Yep.
But this is one day after she fled the group home where she lived. Charlie was sneaking into the group home through the window.
Oh, dear.
Morgan and Charlie went on the run.
Yep.
Morgan cut off her ankle monitor and fled.
Mhm.
The Illinois police unknowingly found her crouched against a wall at a truck stop shortly after the escape.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So she met Charlie through church
Go figure.
and was complaining to her about how the group home had too many rules. And we'll get to what some of those rules were that she was
Okay.
breaking.
Okay.
But what happened was she was huddled next to Charlie.
Mhm.
And she told officers that she was worried about being separated from the 43-year-old, who was shaking from the cold and occasionally struggling to speak. The pair originally evaded questions about their identity, but then Morgan told officers that she had done something really wrong. When they asked her what, she said, "Just Google me."
That is audacious for someone on the run right now.
Yep. Body cam footage reveals that Morgan was the one in charge out of this duo.
Oh, this is very much, I know it's not the same, but this is reminding me of Eileen Wuornos a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the age gap there, I know it's that's too much. A 23-year-old and a
And you know
43-year-old?
what? It's interesting because when I first read about this, I thought, okay, well, this 43-year-old convinced her to run off, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very much the other way around.
Which is very concerning for Morgan's mental status when you consider the original reason that she's in this home in the first place,
Yes.
convincing, perhaps another person to commit a crime.
Yes.
This is telling me she has learned not a lot.
Well, two things on that. Number one, she was breaking the rules because she was having Charlie sell her artwork, which is
Okay.
against the group home rules.
Yes.
Second, Morgan is still saying she sees Slendy.
Oh, no. Well, the reason she's in a group home anyway is because she was initially offered parole. So
Mhm,
she has gone from prison to this group home where
mhm.
she's obviously still very much locked down.
She's been sentenced to stay at that group home for 40 years.
Yes. So, the idea is sort of not to be letting her out for a long, 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 long time.
Mhm.
But the fact that she's been paroled from prison to a group home, but is still displaying some very concerning
Yeah.
behaviors and is showing through her actions,
Mhm.
she has not changed or has not learned.
No.
That's very worrying.
It is very, very concerning because she was granted conditional release to the group home just in January.
Yes.
She had spent 7 years incarcerated, and when the 2 were found, she was carrying a backpack and a pink journal with the words "Homeless Couples Guidebook" written in it.
Oh boy.
Police allege that the 2 took a Greyhound bus from Wisconsin and were found more than 165 miles away when they were arrested.
Woof. And this is within a couple of hours of being on the run, so to speak.
Yes. So Charlie was released on a citation and is due to appear in court in January of next year.
Mhm.
There isn't really a lot of information about what her charges are going to be.
Because Charlie wasn't, incarcerated in the first
No,
place. Charlie was a free person.
but we will get back to some of the stuff that Charlie has done in the
I see.
past. So, Morgan had an extradition hearing recently. She waived the extradition and she's being held without bail. Wisconsin has a month to take her back to the state. And the district attorney told reporters that the state would have to decide whether to file a petition to revoke the conditional release and that they are supporting that.
I was gonna say, this little attempt at freedom could very much see her going from being incarcerated in a group home to being sent back to prison.
Yes.
Because, yeah, it's the conditions of you being in a group home
Mhm.
instead of a penitentiary
Mhm.
is that you're gonna behave.
You can't break those rules.
And by escaping, you've basically broken the cardinal rule
Yeah.
of being locked up.
The Wisconsin Department of Corrections has filed a sealed petition that sought to revoke the conditional
Yeah.
release, and that triggered a 30-day window for a hearing, which was scheduled for December 22nd. That hearing is now delayed, and they're not sure if it's going to be rescheduled or when.
Okay.
Now, we do know that prior to this,
Yeah.
a different person had been sending her things that were forbidden into the group
Oh.
home, specifically a book that was against the rules. And this book has a lot of very morbid and violent
Mm.
content.
Mhm.
If her conditional release is revoked, the question becomes where she's going to be treated.
Yeah.
So they're saying if she does get it revoked, is she gonna go into a mental health institute? Is she going to go into a psychiatric hospital? Is she gonna go into a prison? They're not quite sure.
Mhm.
Her attorney wants her sent back to the group home.
But I mean,
It didn't work the first time.
that's what I was gonna say. From my layman's
Mhm.
perspective, that doesn't seem to be doing the thing you're hoping it's doing.
And here's what's scary is go back and listen to the episode for the details. We're not gonna rehash it here, but the crime heavily happened due to her manipulation. And we're
Yes.
seeing now that she is still a very manipulative person
Mhm.
and she's unwilling to follow rules.
It's clearly a pattern. Now the original crime happened when the girls were all 12 years old,
Mhm.
so it's been a considerable amount of time since then, but you are still behaving in the same manner.
You're still seeing Slender Man. That's
Exactly.
not good.
No.
Because when I first heard this, I thought, like, okay, well, maybe she's saying, like, oh, this happened. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Mhm.
I'm fine. I shouldn't be here. I don't deserve to be here.
Yes.
Slendy's still all up in your mind, which
Yeah.
is horrifying.
I in a way, I feel very sad for her because your life is not normal, right?
No.
The things that have happened due to yourself or acting upon these, but when you do something as a kid in that situation with all the factors considered, she clearly needed a lot of help.
Yeah.
But you're an adult now.
Mhm.
You've gone through this process. People are trying to help you,
Yeah.
and either it's not working or you're not letting it work.
Yes, exactly.
You know, it's tough, but she's a dangerous person, I
Well,
think.
this proves it.
Exactly.
Because if for me, it's the manipulation. If she is still willing to manipulate other people, she's gotten 2 people that we know of to help her break these rules,
Yeah.
one of which helped her escape, which, like you
Mhm.
said, that's the cardinal rule. You
Yep.
don't escape. So, to me, that's making me wonder if she had escaped or if she was fully released, would she commit another crime?
I think likely the answer would be yes to that because they were literally found crouching beside a truck stop.
Mhm.
So it's not like they have a place to go. She doesn't have money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The resources are just not there for her to live a free life in a comfortable way.
Yeah.
And I think when you're put in very desperate situations, you resort to crime,
Of
whether that's
course.
just stealing to eat or breaking into places to find warmth or in these very stressful situations, what kind of effect is that going to have on her already quite fractured
Mhm.
mental health to the point where you may end up hurting someone else or yourself
Yeah.
because of this foolishness.
Now as for Charlie,
Yes, please tell.
Charlie has a criminal history
Mm.
of sexual assault
Oh,
and
no.
restraining orders.
Oh, that's not good.
There was a woman that she lived with who had adult children,
Okay.
and Charlie was found to have been sexually assaulting these adults.
Oh, that's not
The
good.
woman placed a restraining order, and it seems to me from what I've read that the restraining order was not followed through with.
Shit.
So this isn't some innocent person who just got kind of wrapped into the wrong thing. This is someone who has committed terrible crimes as well.
And whether or not you think that Morgan is the ringleader or Charlie is the ringleader, I think these are two people that are already very potentially dangerous
Mhm.
people. Dangerous people, I mean, they've showed that by their actions coming together.
Yeah.
I fear that it could have been very much like a folie à deux
Mhm.
situation,
That's exactly what I thought.
where one of you is egging the other on, or,
Yep.
we've talked about serial killers who have worked together in the past,
Mhm.
especially couples.
Yeah.
So I just think that was a bonfire waiting to
Yeah,
explode.
and I mean, in the body cam footage, Charlie is seen, like I said, huddled over, terrified, cold, can barely talk, and
Mm,
Morgan is like, "Google me, bitch."
that's
Which
crazy.
what a response.
Don't even I mean, I'm glad they apprehended them when they did,
Yeah.
but the arrogance as well.
Mhm.
At first it's like, "Oh, we're not who we're not Morgan and Charlie, we're someone else." And then to be like, "Ah, you know what? I'm infamous. Google me."
Yeah,
That's a flip of a
I
switch.
think so.
That's creepy too. I don't like that either.
Yeah, because when I first heard this story, I was like, "Oh shit, she ran away," and everyone was messaging us and telling
Yes.
us,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then looking into it and just seeing how it happened and where her mind is at
Mm.
is actually horrifying.
Yeah. I'm interested as always to see where this is gonna end up,
Mhm.
what her final destination will be,
Yeah.
whether that's back at the group home that she's already escaped from and had people breaking into for her,
Mhm.
or if that's gonna be prison or whatever. Either way, wherever she ends up incarcerated, she needs to be incarcerated for the foreseeable future,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
This is not someone who should have temporary absences or anything like that, at least not for a very long time. I think she
No.
still has a lot of rehabilitation to do. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen,
Mhm.
a lot of mental health help, I
Yes.
think, and it's yeah, this just goes to show it, and I really think that she shot herself in the foot big time.
I think so too, because there are going to be a lot more eyes on her
Mhm.
in future for sure. I would really hope so anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
Craziness. Now do we want to I have a short local one that I discovered, and then I know we have like an art history one sort of in the chamber as well.
Yes, and then I have a, 40-year-old unsolved murder that's been solved. I wanna
Ooh.
hear the somewhat local one because you
Okay.
kinda told me, and I'm very
Yes.
curious.
So this it popped up and I was like, "How did I not hear about this?" But then it happened in May 2003 when I had only been in Canada for all of a year and I was about 10 years old. So that's probably why I didn't
Mhm.
hear about it. But the article I found, it popped up as I was searching for something else, but the title was Lethbridge City Councillor Fakes Her Own Abduction. So immediately I was like, Lethbridge,
Tell me
what is
more.
this? So Dar Hetherington, a city councillor in Lethbridge, Alberta, made headlines in May 2003 when she disappeared while on a work trip to Great Falls, Montana. 3 days later, she appeared in Las Vegas claiming she had been abducted and sexually assaulted. People went crazy,
Yeah.
obviously. It then turned out, after a short investigation where police surveillance failed to show any evidence of an actual abduction, that the married mother of three had actually run away to Vegas with a man she had just met.
Mhm.
So she left her car in Great Falls, which initially sort of added to the abduction story of holy cow, her car's still here and she's gone.
Yeah.
It then turned out she had actually gotten into a private vehicle with probably the man she was running away with and had run away to Vegas to have a great time with him.
Oh my god.
Then, when she got caught, she tried to cry abduction, but then obviously it all rapidly fell apart. The articles I were reading that came out around the time as the story was literally
Mhm.
coming out, they interviewed her husband
Oh.
back in Canada, and of course, he is seeing the news, and at first, of course, he was very worried. His wife had been abducted in a different country and had gone missing on a business trip, but then as things started to come out, he was basically like, "Look, I don't know what the story is. I have not talked to her in person yet. We know that she was checked out by medical staff to make sure she was okay,
Mhm.
but we're going to wait until she gets back to Canada so I can get to the bottom of all this." And he was quoted as saying that in
Oh
these
my god.
articles. But it turned out that when she initially said that she had been abducted and assaulted, she also, now I want to state this is not necessarily a sign of guilt, but she did refuse to be examined by medical staff.
Okay, I get where you're coming from, yeah.
So, not every someone who has been sexually assaulted may not want anyone to touch them ever again.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you are well within your rights to
Mhm.
refuse any kind of medical attention. However, in this particular case, it did strike investigators as a little odd that she didn't accept it. It also didn't help that back in October of 2002, Dar Hetherington had also claimed that she had become the target of a stalker who was sending sexually explicit letters and who was making obscene phone calls to her. But again, when police looked into it, it all fell apart. There was no evidence of
Oh.
this ever happening. And both the American police in Vegas and the Canadian police deemed her abduction story not credible, citing a complete lack of evidence, her refusal of medical examination, and also the fact that she constantly contradicted herself.
Mm.
In the end, in June 29th of 2004, she was found guilty by Alberta Provincial Court by Judge Peter Cafaro, and he stated that Mrs. Hetherington was not to be trusted to tell the truth.
Ooh.
As a result of her conviction, she became ineligible to hold public office. As I mentioned, she was a city councillor for Lethbridge, and her sentence was a 20-month conditional sentence, 8 months of house arrest followed by a 10-month curfew plus 100 hours of community service and counseling. She did file an appeal but later dropped it, reportedly because she couldn't afford to keep appealing it, and her sentence was eventually reduced to 1 year by the Alberta Court of Appeal.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what her husband's thoughts were at the end of this.
Probably not good.
I don't think they're together anymore, but I could be wrong on that. If you're from Lethbridge and you remember this story as it happened, I'd love to hear your
Oh
thoughts
my
on it.
god.
But yeah, a little crime case closer to
That's
home. Yeah.
wild. My story is obviously sad. So, can I do this one first and then you can cheer us up with your art story? Because I know what it is
Yes.
and I love it.
Yes, we can both kind of talk about that one together. That would be good.
Okay, perfect. DNA connects Colorado woman's murder to prolific serial killer 40 years later.
Okay, it seems weird. I was about to go, "Yes!" And it seems weird to charge to, like, what's the word?
Cheer?
Cheer. My god, my brain. I was like, "It's weird to cheer about this." I'm so happy every time
Yeah.
something comes out decades
We
later.
say it all the time. We see stories like this more and more, and it's tragic, yes, but I love to see it because A, it means that these older crimes are being investigated,
Yes.
but that they're being solved.
It's amazing. I love to hear it. Let's dive into it.
So the woman was named Rhonda Marie Fisher.
Okay.
DNA found on paper bags allowed authorities to match her murder to, like I said, one of Colorado's most prolific serial killers.
Whoa.
Rhonda's body, she was 30 years old, was found on April 1st, 1987, along a rural highway roughly 35 miles south of Denver. She had been sexually assaulted and strangled to death. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office said in a news release on Tuesday that after decades of investigating, they connected her DNA to the killer. He said obtaining a viable DNA profile from paper bags nearly 4 decades old is exceptionally rare and underscores the extraordinary value of meticulous evidence preservation and periodic forensic reevaluation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm amazed that they were able to pull DNA from a paper bag after 40
Yeah,
years.
that's wild.
You I mean, they've held this evidence, they've
Mhm.
preserved this evidence, right? But, like, of all the things to break down over 4 decades, a paper bag you'd
You
think
would
is
think
up
so,
there.
yeah. So, she was last seen the night before she died in Denver, about an hour's drive north of where her body was found. In the weeks leading up to her murder, Fisher had been staying with various acquaintances, and there was a person of interest early in the case, but they were ultimately cleared. Detectives also failed to investigate multiple serial offenders in the Denver metropolitan area from the 1970s and 90s. And even after renewed DNA testing in 2017, no complete DNA profiles were produced to identify the perpetrator.
Wow.
This year, the sheriff's office cold case unit reopened the investigation, and in October, investigators matched DNA recovered from paper bags placed on her hands used to preserve trace evidence with biological evidence from 3 homicides in 1979, for which Vincent Darrell Groves was convicted.
Oh, I haven't heard of him before.
He was convicted for a series of murders and was involved in sex trafficking and drug distribution. He served less than 5 years for his murder conviction and went on to commit attacks that primarily targeted vulnerable women.
Ugh.
He is believed to be responsible for at least 12 homicides and an attempted murder in Denver. The sheriff's office added that his true victim count is likely higher.
Whoa.
He died in 1996 while in Colorado's Department of Corrections, while in custody after convictions related to the 1988 murders of Diane Mancera in Douglas County and another victim in Adams County.
It always makes me so angry when someone like this is arrested for a horrific violent
Mhm.
crime, serves, in my opinion, far too less time,
Yeah.
and then immediately reoffends in a violent and insane manner.
Yeah.
In that moment, I know that the judges, the lawyers, the law enforcement involved can only make the best decisions based on the laws at the time. I understand that. But when that happens, I truly think that the judges involved need to be reevaluated.
100%.
There needs to be some
Yep.
kind of investigation into it. You need to be suspended until that's over because at the end of the day, this violent person who has proved themselves violent and has hurt someone or killed someone, and then you let them out to do it again. How is there not some responsibility on your
There
half?
really has to be. Douglas County Sheriff Darren Weekly said in a statement, "While Vincent Groves cannot be held accountable in a court of law, we hope this long awaited resolution brings answers and a measure of peace to Rhonda Fisher's family and friends. This case is a testament to our commitment to pursue justice for every victim, no matter how much time has passed."
Mhm.
He also added that Rhonda was a mother, daughter, sister, and friend, and her case exemplifies the need to bring closure to families who have endured unimaginable weight.
I really do give a lot of credit to the folks that work on these like cold case teams
Yeah.
because the amount of effort and then just I think you have to put a lot of your own passion into it because you are trying to help someone that you've never met in
Mhm.
person. You know, you have no connection to them, but you feel this need to solve their
Yeah.
mystery. And to do that, I think is a very selfless thing to do. And to, like you say, you're not going to get justice in the sense that the person who did it is already dead, but
Mhm.
bringing a sense of closure and, like you say, a sense of peace to the family members left behind, that's all you can ask at this
It
point.
is, and what I think about a lot is a lot of these cold case units, the sad fact of the matter is there is no shortage of cold cases.
No, absolutely
So,
not.
these people are often overworked.
Yep. Not enough resources.
Definitely not. And to me, seeing things like this, it always gives me a little bit of hope for other stories that we've covered
Absolutely.
because we see it happening and it doesn't happen nearly as often as we hope it would. But to have answers after 40 years, I think is a testament to just good police work,
Yes.
which we don't get to talk about that too often. So it is always good to see.
No, in a world of very negative cases, stories, tales to tell, it is very important to show a little bit of that silver lining
Hmm.
sometimes, because otherwise think you find yourself in a pit of despair that you can't get out of.
Yeah.
And it's very important that, yes, once in a while, a shine of hope comes through.
Hmm.
And if that helps people going forward, then even better.
Yeah.
All right. The art history lesson that you've all been waiting for.
So each week for extra credit, I'll bring my stories, Charlotte will bring her stories, and every now and
Mhm.
again, before we record, we kinda talk about just a little bit about what we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about, we try not to give anything away. We both had this story
Mhm.
ready, and I really love that we both picked this.
It's so good. One of my favorite, TikTok accounts, actually, but they've been famous before the internet even existed. In fact, they might have been famous before telephones even existed, but the Christie's Auction House,
Yes.
dude, it's a tax bracket that I will never be in.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh, I wish. But they watching those auctions where they're selling these priceless items, whether it be art or a piece of clothing
Mhm.
or an artifact. Or recently, Christie's, I think, broke records when they literally sold, I think it was a T-Rex.
Can you imagine owning a
I think
T-Rex?
someone bought it. Now, don't quote me. I believe it was either $9 million or
What?
$12 million.
Oh, that's worth it for a T-Rex, I think.
If you just prop her up in your backyard.
Yeah.
But watching these Christie's auctions,
Yeah.
it's mesmerizing. And there's a lot of the auctioneers themselves. And forgive me, I'm so bad with names, but there's one particular lady. Now, she's been working for Christie's for a long time and she's worked her way up and she has this charisma to her.
Mhm.
And when she's like, yes, taking, and 15 million from you, 15,500,000. And I'm just like mesmerized by
Mhm.
this. But then this story came up and it's a Fabergé egg,
Yes.
which if you don't know what a Fabergé egg is, how do you not know what a Fabergé egg is?
That's like every stereotypical, like, heist movie
Oh,
from
yeah.
back in the day.
Yes, it's of course, like these beautiful, priceless works of art that go back a long way in history. But recently, the Fabergé winter egg, which I think is appropriate to talk about on this December blustery day, is a rare diamond and crystal decorative egg commissioned in 1913 for the Russian imperial family. It has been sold at auction for a record breaking 30.2 million US dollars. So this little Fabergé egg, and it's about this big.
Mhm.
Actually, we'll get into it. I can tell you a little more about it in a sec. It sold for more than the T-Rex.
That's insane. Can I tell you something that's also insane?
Yes.
I have a different Fabergé egg story.
What?
I'm not even
Oh
kidding.
my god. That's so funny.
I'm not even kidding.
How is that even possible? We thought we were going to talk about the same story. Apparently not.
What?
Okay, well, I guess we can discuss Fabergé eggs
I
today.
guess. What are the odds?
Okay, well, before I
No, you tell me yours.
okay,
Because
and
I
then
wanna know more about this expensive
okay,
egg, and then I have mine.
okay.
I am mind blown right now.
We're learning about eggs today. Okay.
Okay, yeah, go on.
So yes, this beautiful winter egg sold for 30 plus million dollars. It was handled by Christie's in London, and it really just underscores the historical value and the extreme rarity of the surviving imperial eggs. Only 7 remain, and they're all owned by private owners.
Ooh.
The winter's egg, it says, is a combination of exquisite craftsmanship, imperial provenance, and its dramatic journey through history has cemented it as one of the most iconic decorative arts pieces ever auctioned. So, as I mentioned, crafted in 1913 by the House of Fabergé, was commissioned by Nicholas II as an Easter gift for his mom, Maria Fedoranova. Designed by Alma Teresia Peel, the egg is made of carved rock crystal, decorated with platinum and thousands of diamonds,
Wow.
and opens to reveal a delicate basket of jeweled quartz flowers symbolizing spring. Its craftsmanship, historical provenance, and rarity have made it one of the most celebrated decorative arts objects ever created, and due to this significance, is why it was sold for so much.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna show you a
Yeah,
picture.
I'd love to see it.
So there's the egg itself.
Holy
You
crap.
can see it's got the little basket. That's the lady who it was commissioned for, the
Wow.
Tsar's mother. And then there's the little basket outside.
That is
It
beautiful.
is truly exquisite, as they say. But yeah, that's really all it is. It's sold for a whopping $30.2 million.
I'd rather have the T-Rex.
Me too, I think.
Okay, 2
Yeah.
different kinds of people. We're
I
the same.
I love art. I love
Mhm.
art history. I once upon a time, and I think I get this from my dad a little bit, I would have looked at like abstract art and been like, what is that? You just threw some paint at a canvas.
Mhm.
But as I've grown and I now understand the history and the creativeness, I
Yes.
just love all art. I love when human beings create
Oh
things.
my god, yeah.
Just amazing. I think in this capitalistic world, if there's still a chance to create something beautiful that comes from you, that's amazing. So I love talking about art history. So
So
yeah,
m
let's hear about the second Fabergé
my
egg.
story is very different.
I love that.
Man who swallowed $19,000 Fabergé egg pendant is now being constantly monitored by police for the evidence to emerge. I thought you were gonna talk about this.
No, but this is freaking amazing. I love that. It's like, yes, isn't this a beautiful item? This is gorgeous. It's so expensive and exclusive and ancient and beautiful. And you're like, and this dude swallowed one.
This is and you're gonna find out where this is from, and you're gonna just think it's the funniest thing ever.
To be fair, you did say pendant.
Yes.
Because this Fabergé egg, the winter egg, is about 8 inches
Yeah, this
high.
is not that big. So a 32-year-old suspect remains in custody in New Zealand. He has been charged with theft after allegedly swallowing a pendant worth $19,300 in a jewelry store in New Zealand.
Oh,
This is
wow.
on November 28th. Authorities were called to Partridge Jewelers in central Auckland at around 3:30 p.m. about reports of a man swallowing a Fabergé James Bond Octopussy egg pendant.
Oh, okay. That is so cool.
The police responded minutes later, arresting the man in the store. At the time of his arrest, he underwent a medical assessment, and an officer is assigned to constantly monitor the man. And they say at this stage, the pendant has not yet been recovered.
Uh-oh.
This egg consists of 183 white diamonds and 2 blue sapphires.
Ooh.
Once opened, it displays an 18-karat gold octopus. Featuring a 007, the item was named after 1983 James Bond film Octopussy.
Okay. So aside, I do have a secret love. It's not really secret. I'm not ashamed of it. I do love James Bond movies. We have watched them my whole life. Like, one of my favorite movies growing up as like a 6-year-old was Diamonds Are Forever.
I love that. I had never seen any of them.
Oh, really?
And a few months ago, Steve and I had like a James Bond marathon.
Amazing.
And I was like, these are really fun.
There's so much fun. There's obviously like the different eras of it. I'm
Mhm.
not going to go on a James Bond rant because that's not what this is about. But as someone whose favorite animal is an octopus, as someone who loves art and jewelry and
Mhm.
history and diamonds, I want to own this.
Don't swallow it.
No, I would never.
So here's the description of the egg as well. The handcrafted Fabergé 007 limited edition Octopussy egg object is limited to just 50 numbered pieces worldwide and stands at 8.4 centimeters tall. Crafted from 18 karat yellow gold and hand painted with a rich green enamel, carefully selected for its similarity to the enamel used on the Fabergé egg featured in the film Octopussy.
Wait, 8 centimeters. That's still
It's
a
too big to
big
swallow.
pendant. Oh no, that is gonna scratch on the other end, friend.
So here's something interesting. This guy, he also stole an iPad, some cat litter, and flea treatment.
Oh.
His next court date is set to take place on December the 8th. What was he doing?
I can only imagine. Well, now that you've said he stole other, like, innocuous items, I almost wonder if he's like, "I just need money. I'm gonna rob a jewelry store." He picks up this pendant thinking, "Oh, that's pretty. That's kinda cool. Maybe we'll take this." The police arrive because you just robbed a jewelry
Mhm.
store, and he's like, "Huh, huh, huh. Oh, shit," and then just, like, swallows it.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can see this going down. And then it's like, okay, so you've managed to somehow swallow this 8 centimeter high egg,
Mhm.
tall egg, I should say, not high. What was your plan after that, homie?
Well, he has a cat, you see, who apparently has fleas.
Yes,
So he did that. The iPad, he probably thought he could sell it.
that's true. I
And I
can see where
and
that's
I
coming
think you're
from.
spot on with the egg, where he saw it and he was like, "This is worth money."
Yeah,
And they showed up and he was like, "Ugh," and couldn't think of what else to do, so he swallowed it.
dude, what goes in must come out somewhere.
Yeah.
And I personally wouldn't want to be pooping out a 8 centimeter diamond encrusted egg. Sir!
Can you imagine being the cop that they assigned to monitor him? Has he pooped yet? No.
No.
How about now?
Oh, man. I'm just what? This is like Pink Panther levels of comedy,
Oh, yes.
honestly, but, like, not the Pink Panther levels of
No.
genius.
I just can't get over that we, like seriously, before we started recording, we were both like, "Oh, we both have the same story, we'll talk about
Yes.
it together." two very different stories.
You know what? This has worked out very well. I love that yours was completely different.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you've all learned a few things today.
That is absolutely wonderful. You know what is not wonderful?
Oh boy.
Our next strange and unusual death. This comes to us from March of 2001.
Ooh.
The article reads, "City worker dies after being sucked into drain."
No, I don't like hearing anybody getting sucked into anything.
Local 376 member Archie Tyler, 43, drowned in the Bronx on May 4th when rushing water pulled him down a drainage pipe.
Oh, Archie.
At the time, he was a watershed maintainer, and coworkers were working to prevent West Nile virus outbreaks.
Oh.
They were clearing debris from the pipe opening, so a football field size accumulation of 2-foot deep water would not become a breeding ground for infected mosquitoes. When he fell through, his coworkers tried to save him but were unable to. They said they were literally holding on to him, and they were forced to let go,
Oh,
and that is
God.
when he passed. This was the third on-the-job fatality in 2 years,
Uh-oh.
and it had renewed union pressure for safer working conditions.
Yeah.
One of the representatives of the construction laborers and highway repairers said, "If you saw the drain in the water, you really wouldn't expect that clearing the drain could put your life at risk." Still, the department had a responsibility to evaluate the job for any possible hazards, which could have prevented this tragedy.
No kidding.
Apparently, they had faced risks before they even reached the 20-inch diameter drain where he lost his life. These risks were pointed out, and basically, the hole had no cover.
Oh, no.
Or
Like,
any
no
there
grate
was
or
no
anything?
grate or anything like that. The suits that they were wearing were not designed for the work that they were doing, so the footing was poor. There was also a lot of algae at the bottom, so it was very
Slippery.
slippery, and, yeah.
Poor guy. That I mean, I often talk about how, like, a hostile alien invasion is my, like, big fear in life.
You do talk about that a lot.
But one of the things I often have nightmares about
Mhm.
is getting sucked into some kind of pipe.
Really?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. The little tiny village that I grew up in England, we used to go for walks down by the river that passed through all the
Mhm.
time. And at one point near the river where we would go walking with our dogs and stuff, there was sort of, I'm not really sure what it was for, but almost like a pumping station of sorts. And so on this sort of part of the river, there was these big, humongous, probably around the same size, black pipes that would go into the river. And I think the idea was that if it flooded, they would pump water off somewhere else
Okay,
to
yeah.
help prevent the flooding. And where these sort of pipes came up, there was this metal grating. So you could walk right up to where the pipes were and like touch them and everything. Like,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure me and my sister have pictures of us like quite young, like sitting on top of them with our dad kind of thing. And once in a while, they would clear the algae and all the stuff from it, and it would all be piled up. And there were signs that said, like, don't go in the water. Like, don't let your dogs near there. Don't swim in the water because you could get sucked up through the pipe.
Ugh.
And as a kid, that really stuck with me. And I often dream about those specific pipes all the
That's
time.
horrifying.
Yeah. So it really stuck with me.
I can see why.
Yes.
For me, it's always just extra sad when someone dies while they're working.
Oh, because you don't go to work usually.
No.
Now, there's many dangerous career paths out there, but he didn't go to work with the idea that his life was going to be on the line.
Yeah.
I mean, the unions and everything are absolutely right
Mhm.
to fight for more safety after something like that. I cannot imagine what it was like also for his coworkers
Oh, yeah.
to hold on to someone and then have to let them go or have them slip
Mhm.
away. Oh, brutal.
Yeah, it's a sad one.
That is a sad one, but I mean, strange and unusual deaths.
Never gonna be happy.
Very rarely do we have a, silver lining to those,
Mm-mm.
unfortunately.
Too true.
Just here to bum you out and give you something morbid to think
Absolutely.
about.
Thank you all so much for listening. This has been the Grim Curriculum.
Extra credit.
Bye.
Bye.